likes to speed the game up and get the opposition playing at his pace. But it's Lucena to start the game off with his short jump float. So Bruno takes his step in to get the ball in the right shoulder, and Brazil take the first point of this men's gold medal match. Bruno, very characteristic of him to pass and then always follow the ball and take a step in to ensure that the ball goes across his body so he can access angle and the line. The crowd waits in anticipation. They want to see an American gold medal today. Cheers as Bruno fires long. Both of these teams played together at the start of their careers and then went on individual journeys, chopping and changing partners. Dalhausser with Rogers, Rosenthal, Lucena with Furbringer, Bruno and Hayden, as Dalhausser makes his first big statement of the game. That's a big start from Dalhausser. Left hand block. Ball goes straight down. No covering that from Alisson. Bruno, well, he doesn't want to get in Dalhausser's pocket. Familiar sounds of American chants echoing around the stadium as Dalhausser fires up again. Bruno this time does get the pass in well, but he's tight to the net. Dalhausser's in the game again, but this time Bruno finds a way past the Beijing Beast. Alisson and Bruno also starting their careers together with Jose Loyola training on the beaches in Brazil. Alisson went on to play with Emmanuel. Phil finds his rhythm inside out. Bruno went on to play with Benjamin and Pedro before getting back together with Alisson and winning the World Championships this year, in which was one of the best games of beach volleyball we've ever seen, beating Nummerdor and Varenhorst in what was an epic encounter. Alisson's the target this time. Alisson has been a side-out machine from that left side. Nicky centre parks and gets the dig, so now he's hitting off the net, no block. He just hits a high roll at a 5'9" guy from Florida. Now he goes into block Lee centre, but he's beaten down the line by Bruno. High impact, high intensity start in this one. Lucena, a 5'9" defender, gets in to block. A little bit of roll reversal. Full stretch dive from Alisson was incredible in that set. Bruno, after missing his first serve, has a chance to make up for it and apply some pressure onto Dalhausser. And Lucena is the target again, and his reception is key. Dalhausser setting like Dalhausser does. On the fall to the left side, still manages to find the perfect set to Nick Lucena, who fires wide. First end and first advantage goes to Alisson and Bruno, but there's a long way to go in this one, that's for sure. Jump serve pressure, Lucena the target again. He's going to run a reverse due to the wing conditions. That's exquisite from Nick Lucena. Not the biggest on tour, but he has extreme ball control. He runs the reverse fairly early and then chops the ball back on the cut shot. Dalhausser again just sets perfection consistently. 5 times best setter Dalhausser on the FIVB World Tour. It's the thin beast now who's going to charge in. Goofy toss, big jump serve from Dalhausser. He's in to try and make the block now. And he does make his second kill block, Dalhausser. This is Dalhausser at his best. Jump serving and then cruising in and kill blocking. Dalhausser has shut down both Brazilians in the opening stages of this final. His battle with Alisson continues. They've had some wars down the years, these two blockers. Dalhausser with Rosenthal and Rogers. Alisson, who played most of his volleyball in these duels with Emmanuel. It's Dalhausser who's winning the battle at the moment, but the war will be a long one. Dalhausser against Alisson. Alisson's a target again. This time Alisson shanks the pass out right. Can only bump the ball over, so Dalhausser's going to have a free ball to try and put away here from the right. It's Big Phil, and Big Phil finds the sideline. Dalhausser is taking matters into his own hands here. Refreshed by this new partnership with Nick Lucena. This one goes long from the Thin Beast. Lucena, very vocal, brings fire to this partnership. Yesterday you saw him really revving up Phil Dalhausser in the second set. Well off the net here, Nick Lucena can only roll one high back deep to the court. Bruno from the left, third block from Phil Dalhausser. Bruno has been shut down twice from Dalhausser at the net. This time off the right hand, straight down that ball goes. 3 kill blocks in the first. 12 points, sorry, from Phil Dalhausser. This is a fantastic start. Nick Lucena is going to be teeing up the plays from the back line, jump serving into the wind, as we've seen all day here. Bruno now, he's off the net a little bit here, so he does squeeze it past Dalhausser. Dalhausser says, my bad, but I'm sure Lucena's not going to be that disappointed with his partner after seeing Phil Dalhausser make 3 of the biggest kill blocks all week in the opening stages of this set. Alisson now will be after some big plays of his own at the net. Lucena's the target, no surprise there. Lucena from the right loves that high line, but Bruno loves digging high lines all day, and he loves transitioning like a master. Bruno reads the game well. Alisson pointing at his partner, celebrating the play. Not only is Bruno quick enough to go and chase that one down from Lucena, but he gets out well and thunders one down the line. It's the first time out of the game, and we're tied at 7-all. We join the American timeout. The first time they've had the chance to speak to each other in this first set. It's a very quiet American bench. Nick Lucena with no need to get vocal quite yet, as we see some highlights from what has been a very competitive first set here from Long Beach. Phil Dalhausser has been the star of the show so far with 3 big kill blocks. Bruno is starting to find some rhythm though. Not that time. He got shut down by Big Phil. Bruno and Alisson, the form team at the moment on the World Tour. 3 gold medals in a row up against a Phil Dalhausser who's not had his best season. Lucena has been in good form. This new partnership from the USA is forming nicely under the guidance of Paul Baxter. Dalhausser blocking will be key in this game. The Brazilian fans are in and in full force. Happy with the ladies' gold earlier on in the day. They want double gold. The Brazilians love winning in American territory. 2 of the biggest rivals in beach volleyball, if not the biggest rivalry. There has been so many battles down the years between the Americans and the Brazilians. As we join Dalhausser and Lucena. Lucena's already made the march back onto court. He's the first one there walking with some intent to get this show back on the road. We're tied at 7. Lucena starting in his usual deep position to service receive. He takes an early step and then he makes sure that he's still when he receives the ball. Dalhausser just a footstep or 2 in front of his best buddy and beach volleyball partner. Bruno stump serving from the middle, goes long. Second miss serve from Bruno, who's trying to fire on all cylinders here. They know that they're going to have to serve tough, this Brazilian team, to break down the Americans. Dalhausser, well, we all know that he's going to go for his jump serve and try and put some pressure on the service receive of this Brazilian side. Dalhausser holds the ball high above his head, gives it a quick spin before the goofy-handed toss and a big follow-through from the big man. It's a good pass from Bruno, who's now on the angle, but that's an audacious attempt from Bruno, who chops it back over the top of big Dalhausser. Bruno, no wonder he's regarded as the best defender in the world at the moment, but it's not just his defense that's special. His shot selection is good, and his decision-making is very, very clinical. That's a great flat float serve, but Lucena does well to pass it. It's a good set from Dalhausser, but Bruno gets a dig, and now he has a chance, and he misses out past the sideline. No worries, says Alisson. Dalhausser 5 times voted the best setter on tour. He's always moving backwards there, but he still finds time to be balanced and push through the ball, and the ball comes out clean. Just there, he just has a slight pause before he falls back with Dalhausser, and that's crucial to not get carried for a carry. Clean as you like from Phil Dalhausser, look at that. Expert stuff. That's why he's renowned as the best setter in the world. Lucena picks out Bruno. Bruno from slightly inside. Lucena makes a miraculous dig, and now he gets a chance to make one back for the US. Oh, Bruno. That's outrageous from Bruno. Dalhausser gets a dig. Second chance for the USA. Dalhausser puts it down the line after what was a defensive battle between Bruno and Lucena. We are going to see much more of that today. Both defenders giving 100% to keep the ball alive. Lucena the first time absorbing the hard hit from Bruno and then sending the roll shot. Bruno at full strength gets his right wrist underneath the ball very well. But then Dalhausser again off a free ball. He doesn't need asking twice to put that ball away. Look at that. It's very rare that you see Phil Dalhausser that fired up. He's a very, very nice guy. Very cool, calm and collected, but this new partnership has got him fired up. More errors from Bruno. I make that 4 or 5 from the Brazilian number 1, and it opens up this lead for Lucena and Dalhausser to 3. Whatever happens, they're going to be into the technical timeout in front, and they're only small victories, but they all count here psychologically. Bruno, again the target, he takes that step in as usual. Lucena makes another dig. Dalhausser makes another transition. Lucena knows Bruno well. If you watch Lucena, he steps round and he takes the angle. He has full trust in Dalhausser's block to take the line and to take the high line as well. Look at that. He takes a step around on the angle, parks to make the dig on the hard hit, puts the ball straight on the net for Phil Dalhausser to take care of the rest. This is relentless stuff from the USA. They have started exactly as they would have wanted to, and far better than they started the semi-final yesterday. They lead what is the best team in the world at the moment by 4 points. Now Bruno needs an outlet, so he takes the reverse on, and that's a great swing. It's what happens sometimes with players who are struggling to side out. They need to change something to change the picture from the defensive team. That time Bruno decides to go on the reverse, and he makes it count with a crushing blow on the angle. We go to the technical timeout. Lucena and Dalhausser lead by 3 in this gold medal match. We join the Brazilian camp. Quiet from Bruno and Alisson. Bruno made probably too many errors by his standards. You know, Bruno is not the biggest on tour, just 6'1", but he said his decision-making is good. He doesn't make lots of errors, and his defense is outstanding. We've seen him make 2 or 3 from the baseline and 2 or 3 in offense as well, but that's because Phil's pressure in the block has been very, very good. The crowd are on their feet, enjoying the world's best beach volleyball. A lot of people have said that this was the fans' favourite final. If the fan had to pick who they could watch in this one, Dalhausser and Lucena are up against Dalhausser's old nemesis, Alisson, and his newest partner, Bruno. It's tight, but Dalhausser does well to recycle it, but what he doesn't do is avoid the net. The net touch means that it's a point to the Brazilians. They can't afford now, the United States, to drop their intensity, because this Brazilian team will be chomping at the bit to get back into this. No block. Is a good break from Alisson as well. It's only a soft shot from Lucena that's punished by Bruno. That's the Bruno that we are used to. Lucena hitting off the net. This is why his reception needs to be perfect, but this was clinical for Bruno. Athletic, agile, takes the ball at the top of his reach and sends down a monumental blow, and a message to the Americans that just because they're 3 points up doesn't mean they've won the set. Reverse from Lucena in the breeze, using the breeze to his advantage and just cutting the ball back across the court. That's twice that we've seen that from Lucena already in this game, that he'll run the reverse and try and chop it back. Look at that wrist position from Lucena, just putting his thumb facing down and guiding the ball on the cut shot. Impressive stuff from the 5'9" Greyhound from Florida. Dalhausser is exactly where Dalhausser wants to be, behind the baseline with the breeze blowing into his face. Big from Dalhausser. Now he's going to be chasing the block on Bruno. Bruno's well off the net, but he does somehow beat the left hand of Dalhausser. I think they took the angle block on there. Lucena was parked fairly early, I think, in defense. It's a good serve down the middle. More reverse plays for Lucena. We're used to playing in these Californian conditions. Dig from Bruno's good. Now he gets chance transition, but the dig from Lucena is perfect, but he can't convert. Dalhausser's frustrated with his transition setting, regarded as many as the best transition setter in the world. Doesn't manage to quite produce the goods on that occasion for Lucena. That one falling inside. Lucena showing great ball control in defense, but that ball's always traveling across him. Lucena's frustrated with his spiking. Dalhausser's frustrated with his setting, but we're tied at 13-all. Lucena again, the target this time through the middle. Phil at full reach again, drifting on the set, but Bruno makes another defensive play, but this time the transition is agonizingly close, but it's just wide. Bruno is starting to cause all sorts of trouble in defense for the Americans, and they are finding it hard to make the ball touch sand. Lucena and Dalhausser do make the point due to a hitting error, but Lucena, again, look at that from Dalhausser, falling backwards, but still finds balance, pushes through the ball, and then falls after the ball's been set. If he's falling when the ball's being set, he would be called, I'm pretty sure of it. Lucena dropping another one short. Alisson struggling, the big frame, struggling to get down to that one. Dalhausser, Bruno with a miraculous recovery. Second chance for Dalhausser on the left. Goes wide. He's looking for a touch here, though, Dalhausser. He's having an argument with his old nemesis, but they touch hands, and the point does go to the Brazilians. Again, Bruno in defense makes the dig. Although they didn't get the spike back, Dalhausser makes the error. I don't think there is any net touch. Any touch on the ball there? No touch from Alisson, but it's so close. You can see Phil going for the wipe on that occasion, just missing out. We're tied. Our 28-point timeout in Long Beach. The American bench still fairly quiet, making the most of their rest time. As we look at some highlights from a game, well, there's nothing in it, is there? This men's gold medal match. Bruno has really come into his own here. Nick Lucena going eye to eye, tooth to tooth with the best defender in the world, though, and we're tied at 14-all. Dalhouser started the set. That was a great swing down the line from Big Phil. Started the set with some big kill blocks, but Bruno started to find a way around Phil Dalhouser. Alisson has had a fairly quiet game so far, though. That short serve was effective, but that touch from Bruno was good enough to win the last point before the technical timeout. Dalhouser trying to wipe off the hand of Alisson and missing by the smallest of margins. Bruno and Alisson taking their chance to relax. Slightly longer timeout than normal. Alisson doing most of the talking. The crowd are having a great time. This game could not be any closer. The entertainment is fascinating. The competition is fierce. The Stars and Stripes are in town for Dalhouser and Lucena. But this game is one of the most fierce and competitive we have seen for a long time. Dalhouser and Lucena playing in their first event together on the World Tour after victory last week in the Manhattan Beach Open. They're getting better and better. Their coach, Paul Baxter, said they're spending extra time on the practice court to make things right because they're 42 on the World Tour list and they need some big results to make the Olympics. This will be a good start, but Alisson gets his first clamp of this game. His first kill block is very, very good, and it shuts down Phil on 2. Bruno will carry on with his jump serving, I think. No, he takes pace off. He goes for the float onto Lucena. They just want to keep the play on Nick Lucena. Lucena gets net banned, but Bruno is there again as he has been all day. And then he transition as he does all day again. Bruno, this is why he has been voted the best defender on the tour twice. He reads the game well, but he waits. Also makes plays at the net as well. Nick Lucena struggling with his service receive. This is a 2-point game, 3-point game now, sorry, as the teams change sides. And after a strong start from Alisson and Bruno, strong start from Dalhouser and Lucena. Alisson and Bruno are really coming back into this one. The crowd are getting behind their favourite men's team as Lucena does bang angle again, but Bruno's there again. Dalhouser can only block straight into Bruno, so Bruno, second chance. Bruno is unstoppable here in Long Beach. Everything that the Americans throw at Bruno, he just eats up and then delivers in offence. Lucena is now starting to fire up in true Lucena way, saying it's not a joust.
Are you saying he didn't touch that off the block?
Van der Meyden is under intense pressure here, as are the players. Lucena is still arguing his cause within the block, the joust that I think Bruno dug earlier on. Let's have a look here. Suggesting Nick Lucena that was a block from Alisson, and therefore the ball should have come over in 2 instead of Brazil using all 3 touches. He's got a point, Lucena. That one there, that it wasn't a joust because it was a block from Dalhouser, so then it was a block as well from Alisson. The referee's taken it as a joust, and Brazil have got the point. Just here, look, it does take a touch off of Alisson, and then he has to turn and set the ball, so it's 4 touches quite possibly. The referee sees it as a joust, so Brazil get the point regardless. And there's Lucena, who is one of the most fieriest customers on tour. Lucena can't afford to get too upset though, because they're at a 4-point game here. And remember, they were leading earlier on in this set. Bruno has been a master though. He has dug balls for fun. Lucena is really struggling to find sand. His high line's been dug a couple of times, and his hard angle also. This one should go to the line from Lucena. No, he does hit angle again, but Bruno just steps inside and takes it. And then he transitions again. Bruno is on the form of his life here in Long Beach. Everything that Nick Lucena throws at him, whether it's down the seam of the court, sharp angle, high line, Bruno has made the read, and he's there waiting for Lucena's offensive plays. Lucena now really does need to find sand. It's been a while for Nick Lucena. The cut shot is now thick. Lucena's running out of ideas. Bruno, this time, cannot transition again. I need to get my breath back here, because Bruno, wow, haven't seen anything like this week. Bruno is digging everything. Dalhausser needs to find something special now from the baseline. It is a good serve from Dalhausser. Bruno is in fine form. Off the foot of Lucena, matching Bruno's agility in the backcourt, but Dalhausser can't keep the ball up, so the teams change ends, and it's set point to Alisson Bruno. They've got multiple chances as well. Lucena needs to find some side-out momentum within this game. Lucena's the target again. It's the receiver that's struggling. It's a bump set that's well off the net, so this should be it. Alisson from the left side for the set. Dalhausser makes his, 4th kill block in this set. He made 3 big blocks early on, but since then, it's all been about Bruno and the way that he's been making defensive play after defensive play. That's a big shutdown from Phil Dalhausser on Alisson. You know with Alisson that he's going to try and hit the ball hard. Dalhausser's up there waiting for him, forming his block nicely and getting the kill block that he was after. There's a long way to go here. They still need another 4 points. Another 4 blocks from Dalhausser would do nicely for the US. Not this time. Bruno again makes another point for Brazil, and they deservedly take this first set, 21-16. Bruno has been outstanding. The soft voice of Alisson leading the Brazilian charge.
1, 2, 3, get it going.
21-16. Remember, it was 11-10, I think, to Lucena and Bruno, and then Brazil took control. Nick Lucena struggling to find sand. Struggling within his side-out play. As we look at some highlights from that exciting first set.
1, 2, 3, extra fast, go, louder. Way louder. Faster. Way faster.
It was Dalhausser's first half of the set, but it was very much Bruno's second half. Outrageous defensive and transition play from the Brazilian defender. It's made him too hot to handle from the Americans. Look at this. Everything that the Americans throw at Bruno, he just reads, picks up, and then goes and delivers in offense. Bruno again, this time through the seam was well dug by Lucena with his left foot. He couldn't keep the ball in play. Alisson, well, he's been effective. Sorry, it was Alisson that took the kill for this set. I got that wrong earlier on. He's been effective, Alisson, but it's Bruno that's stolen the show. As we look at the stadium, the Mexican wave, the excitement, they love their volleyball in California. No matter where you go along the beaches, you see hundreds of volleyball courts, and they are immersed by this final. The Americans really know how to put on a show, as do the players we have on centre court this afternoon.
Prozac is kicking in, some other patty that I see, a cookie and a brownie. Oh, it's so great. Slow to the stage and arrange. And we're going to go as fast as we've ever gone. Not yet. Not yet.
Slow wave going on here as the fans are enjoying the beautiful weather that California constantly provides. It's very much a characteristic Californian afternoon.
I don't even know what happened. All I know is we got weird. We got weird, Ken. We got weird. It was fantastic.
The Americans are out early. They have a statement of intent on their faces. They want this to go to a tie-breaking set. And the stats say that in the first set, Bruno got 14 digs for Brazil. That is phenomenal stats. He made 14 digs in the backcourt. Lucena, but it's Bruno who makes another dig. Lucena has to go again, but he can't get past Bruno. That's 2 already from Bruno in the digs department. But Dalhausser now has a chance. Dalhausser shoots high and fast and makes the play. The impressive thing from Lucena is that at least he made pressure on Bruno that time. He started to lose his aggression in the first set, Nick Lucena, but this time he's jumping high, hitting hard through the ball, and now it's his turn to serve. Fortunately, it does drop low into the net. The fascinating thing is to see all the people sat on the floor and all of the people who can't get a seat in the grandstand are standing around the outside of the courts. Typical American beach volleyball following it is rammed in here. Cut was a call. Goofy from Lucena this time. Dalhausser on 2, prods it down the line and makes the point. Bruno has been digging everything, but he has not been able to dig Phil Dalhausser. The last 2 occasions. Lucena going southpaw on that one, but look at the cover from Lucena. That's what he does best. That's why he's called the Greyhound. He moves so quick along the backcourt, scurrying around to make plays. Bruno the target again. The bump set's good and high from Alisson. It's Lucena's time to heat up in defense because the Americans are going to throw everything at this. Touching the block from Dalhausser. There's a net touch somewhere. It is against Phil Dalhausser, so it's a point to the Brazilians. Lucena and Dalhausser, they need to throw the kitchen sink at this one because they're 1-0 down, and if they lose this one, they have to settle for silver. Lucena has never won a gold on the FIVB World Tour, and he will be as hungry as anyone to make sure that this job gets done. Nick, from the right side, gets touched from Alisson, but the pokey's good from Dalhausser. He's in system, and then finds a big angle swing. Phil Dalhausser, with 3 kills early on in this set, has put the Americans into a 1-point advantage. Lucena's starting to find some consistency again, which will overjoy the American fans, I'm sure. Lucena only finds the block of Alisson. Dalhausser comes screaming through the middle of the court and makes the play. Alisson is now the target because Bruno is being far too effective. Big Phil with a block. Alisson loves to swing hard. He loves to go all out and feast through the ball. He tries to this time, but the big, thin figure of Phil Dalhausser is waiting for him. And it's Phil Dalhausser that takes yet another kill block. This is Phil Dalhausser blocking at his best. Multiple kill blocks in this game already. You do not get much steeper than that in beach volleyball. He's a big, imposing figure, Phil Dalhausser, but to lead his team to glory, he needs more and more of these blocks. Bruno is the target now. They're going off of Alisson. Bruno now gets dug by Lucena. Started far better, and the bump from Phil Dalhausser somehow lands in. Outrageous from Phil Dalhausser. Bruno had the tracking of that one, surely. He just watches it drop in the baseline. Lucena just stands and takes a dig. Look at that, Bruno's tracking it all the way back, but the ball drops well in from Dalhausser. Dalhausser and Lucena are starting to fire up here. It's Bruno and Alisson that are feeling the pressure in Long Beach. Alisson is the target again. The wind's changed, the team changes sides. Bruno's called for a lift here, and Alisson and Bruno are making their feelings pretty apparent here. Didn't look too bad.
Maybe I was wrong, but it was a bad call. Let's go. So keep the criteria, right?
Didn't quite hear what the referee said, suggesting that there was a carry there from Bruno on the reverse set. You don't see Alisson look like that very often, but the Brazilians there slightly low, but wasn't too bad from Bruno, I don't think. The call is if the ball drops below the chin, then it's a problem, but it was very close. Bruno again goes reverse. The ball is higher in his hands that time, but Dalhausser's there to get the block. Phil Dalhausser making multiple kill blocks. As the crowd shout, "Hi, Phil." Jumps in on the angle, keeps his chin high, arms pressing. Phil Dalhausser is taking this game away from Alisson and Bruno. It's a long way back. Alisson now shanks the pass underneath Phil's block again, but Alisson is too high and hits a very steep angle to make what is a rare point for the Brazilians. Lucena now, Dalhausser on two, trying to outrun Alisson. Alisson cannot get in to block quick enough as Phil Dalhausser sends one down. 8-3, they're running away with it after losing the first set, 16-21. Dalhausser is really fired up. Lucena is finding consistency. Dalhausser is going to throw this one into the wind. Alisson is struggling with his pass, but that's much better. He's off the net, Alisson, so he can only hit the net band. Dalhausser struggling to get that one. US can only bump that one into play. Chance for Bruno now. It's tight. Dalhausser's back in the game. More blocking. They have to keep the ball off the net, but that's a fine cut shot from Bruno. Just slices it across the front of the net. Alisson is setting that one straight underneath Phil, but they recycle well, and Bruno makes a classic cut shot to keep Brazil in touch here. Lucena is the target again. More reverse plays. Net touch against Dalhausser, I think. A lift against Dalhausser in the set. Lucena isn't happy. He's questioning the decision of the referee, but the fact of the matter is that he passed that one too close to the net, put Phil under pressure. But it's proper gamesmanship, this, from Lucena, who's just slowing down the play. Very smart from him. Even if he is questioning the decision, he's making Bruno wait to serve the next ball. That ball from Dalhausser. Called for a carry. Usually you want to be facing the way you're setting the ball, but that's a reverse, and I guess his hands do drop a little bit, but not too much. Reverse play. Lucena is shot down from Alisson, but there's something's happened here. I think it's a let. If it is a let, then I don't know why Lucena's complaining. Unsure what's happening here. First referee is under some pressure. Is it a let? I think we're going to see that one again. Let's have a look what happened. The referee's called something really early. Any net touch? Oh no, it's the ball, so it's 4 touches against the USA. I don't think there's any touch against Alisson's block. It's a refereeing error, so it is a let. Sets a bit wider for Lucena. This one, he just creeps one down the line. Bruno is sure that that one's out. He's arguing with the first referee. Shrug of the shoulders from Alisson. He is also not very happy at all here. Nick Lucena just slides it down the left-hand side of Alisson as we go to a timeout. We're going to try and listen to the team talk of Dalhausser and Lucena. Not much to listen to, it's very quiet, but they will be happy with their sets work so far. Not much going on over the Brazilian side either. It's a very warm day. They're making the most of their rest time and hydration time as we're going to head to some highlights from a game that still could go either way. We've had big blocks, big defensive plays. We've had it all here in Long Beach. Alisson has had moments of glorious plays, but he's found it hard. He's been blocked a couple of times from Alisson, and it's Dalhausser who's having the better game of the two blockers. But for me, Bruno is having the better game of the two defenders. Lucena has found some consistency, that's for sure, in this set, but at times found it tough to get past the defensive finesse of Bruno. As we see Bruno and Alisson there, it's quiet, and they know they have to step it up a gear throughout this stage of the game. They were slow starting this set. Dalhausser took the ball by the horns. Lucena, as we said earlier, is gained consistency. He's made some great plays in defense, and it's the Americans that find themselves in charge. We're almost ready to go again here as the crowd, again, enjoying the Californian entertainment and the Californian weather. Alisson and Bruno are the first pairing back onto this stadium court that could not get any fuller. I've not seen a grandstand on the FIVB World Tour this full, with people having to stand around the court and sit on the beach, reminiscent of the old days in California. Alisson from the outside, one-handed scoop from Lucena, and Dalhausser does the rest. That's one of the best plays of the day. Nick Lucena with his arms out by his side. The crowd say hi, Nick, in respect to what was one of the best defensive plays all day. Gets his left wrist underneath the ball. Perfect play from Lucena, who tees up Phil Dalhausser, who just turns on the spin. Don't think Brazil were expecting that. Bruno was nowhere near it and thought that Alisson had won the point. Look, he's very, very reactive there, Bruno. Not very proactive. Has a little look at the referee, Bruno. I don't know quite what for. There was nothing too poor about that one. I don't think Dalhausser was over the net. Bruno fakes the second ball attack and then sets Alisson back, who shoots high line. 10-6. Alisson serves straight down the middle to Nick Lucena, who yet again, as we saw under 5 minutes ago, is finding joy just sliding the ball past the left hand of Alisson. He is showing a lot of character here, Nick Lucena, after struggling to side out for a large period of time in the first set. Dalhausser's toss is a little bit out there, so he ends up firing into the net. It's a 4-point game. It's 11-7. USA, as they did in the first set, are sure of having the lead at the technical timeout. Nick from the right side, this time uses Alisson's block. Alisson's frustrated because he knew he had his hands on the ball, but body's facing out of court, so the ball then disappears out past the sideline as well. Nick Lucena making 3 side-outs in a row is starting to find real rhythm here. Allison to the middle, so this wide ball again for Allison in indoor play down the right-hand side of Dalhausser's block. This is still an important point. If you remember in the first set, the Americans were up at the technical timeout. Allison is huge, isn't he? Sees the gap between Phil's right arm and the sideline. So we're saying the first set was similar. Better start was made by the USA, but then the Brazilians just came back firing. Dunk by Allison. He waits on his prey, goes late in the block and slams the ball down back into Nick Lucena's face. 12-9 at the technical timeout. It's advantage Lucena Dalhausser, but they had advantage in the first set. And it was Brazil that came out the better team after this stage of the first set. Lucena and Dalhausser, they have to keep the pressure on the Brazilians here. It'll be important seeing if that block from Allison has any mental effect on Lucena when they come back out onto court. Bit more communication in the USA camp as the teams come on back to court. It's very hard to hear from my commentary position here. I think they're going to take a little bit more of the angle on the block, which translates to the cross court. Be interesting to see what happens. As the music dies down and the players make their way back onto court, the USA lead by 3. The jewel is going to be Nick Lucena. How well can he side out throughout the second stage of the set? If he can hold his nerve inside out, the USA will have a very good chance. Phil's the target, not used to being served. Phil. Allison chasing after that one, but the ball's out of play as it hits the net the wrong side of the antenna. Bruno gets low in defense, but can't get low enough to scoop the big angled swing, steep swing of Phil Dalhausser. The American fans would love it now if Phil Dalhausser could get into his service rhythm. Again, through the ball to the left side of Allison. He's probably going to try and swing hard again. He does swing hard. Touch off of Phil Dalhausser's block this time. It's one of the first times that we've seen a touch off of Dalhausser's block from Allison's offense. (13-10) in this second set. Nick Lucena passing the ball quite close. That's a bump set. Lucena could only find Bruno again. Bruno from the centre does find the defence and the transition play. This is what helped the Brazilians win the first set. Bruno keeps making defensive plays and putting them away. This is why he's regarded as many as the best in the world at doing exactly that. Lucena needs to hit on the net. He needs to keep varying the plays to keep Bruno guessing. Lucena again, it's a good pass from Lucena, good setting from Dalhausser. Compared to the last play where Lucena passed the ball fairly tight to the net, this was in a much more accessible setting area for Phil Dalhausser, and Dalhausser just pops that set up and down and Lucena can pop inside it and shoot line. Makes it look easy. Short ball this time on Bruno to try and get him underneath Dalhausser's block. It is through Dalhausser's block, deflection off of Lucena and out the back of play. Bruno slightly lucky on that occasion to go through the hands of Dalhausser and off of Lucena. Looked like that Dalhausser was blocking ball, so his left hand was on the right shoulder of Bruno, right hand on the left shoulder. More rush play from the pass of Lucena, but somehow he just smuggles it down the front of Allison. They're staying more consistent in this set, the Americans. Even the rush play caught out there. Allison already on the way down in his block when that ball collided with him. Just dribbled down him and landed on the floor. surely this game cannot get any better. Dahlhauser, well, it doesn't for the moment, as Dahlhauser can only find the net. That's a couple we've seen from Big Phil as we head to our second in-game timeout. 15-13, Lucena Dahlhauser have the advantage against the world champions and the champions from Stade, Yokohama as well. They've won 3 in the bounce, the team in the picture, and they are looking to make it 4 straight World Tour wins. Bruno is starting to fire up again in defence. Allison, well, his block has been a little bit out today. He'll be looking to fix it. There has been so many highlights in a fierce competitive match, and we're going to take a look at some of the brightest moments of this second set. Allison, that was an exceptional gig from Nick Lucena, who's finding his feet again in this second set after struggling with his side out. Allison, well, that was a bright moment for him, but he'll be wanting to find some more consistency. He's in a big airspace, Allison. It's a rush pass from Lucena, but he smuggled it down the front of Allison. Lucena's consistency is key for this team, and if Phil can back it up, then they are a team with real threat. Quiet on the bench. Nick Lucena now tries to fire the team up. The crowd are still enjoying themselves on what is a boiling hot day in Long Beach. You'll see water coolers around the stadium. All the crowd bouncing. The Americans sure know how to put on a good show. Teams come back onto court. As we said, the consistency and side out from Nick Lucena is going to be key. Lucena has received 28 balls within this game. Dahlhauser has only been served twice. Shows that this is such a big key component within this game. How long can Lucena side out for? The pass is good, but it's quick. Dahlhauser on the fall again in the set, but that's a wonderful shot from Lucena, and it gets a big celebration from Phil Dahlhauser. This is what Lucena does best. He chases after the ball, plants his feet inside it, and then flips it back to the line. Lovely play from Lucena, and that's a big point. USA win that one. And it's a 3-point lead that we got. Brazil would have won that. We're back to just 1, but we are a 2-point game again, as Bruno just chops the ball on the angle, makes it look so easy and effortless. It's a high-level game, this one. USA are the calls from the crowd. Lucena again. It's much faster, that roll shot from Lucena. Bruno is maybe guessing that Lucena might shoot high line, especially after the last play, but Lucena just rolls the ball on the angle. Bruno can't answer that. USA must be favourites now to send this to a tie-breaking set. More jump serve pressure from Dahlhauser. Bruno from the right side needs to side up. He makes it again. That's twice in a row for Bruno. The Brazilian fans appreciating the class from, well, who is regarded as the best defender in the world. Quiet, no music, allowing the crowd to get behind their team. Bruno with the jump serve. A rare serve for Dahlhauser, who's been kept quiet in this game, and that's why, because Dahlhauser accesses the line, and it's off the chicken wing of Bruno, and it disappears into the stand. Phil Dahlhauser only served for the 3rd time in this game, makes another side out. The Americans would love a block from Dahlhauser now to just open up the gap again. Allison knows. They set up early, the Americans. Lucena moves early to the line. Dalhausser stays on the angle. Alisson knows exactly what's going on and just scoots it over the top of Big Phil. Net band ace from Alisson. Now that is a huge point in the context of this game. It means that we change at a 1-point game at 17-18. That could be set defining from Alisson. Heads down from Nick Lucena and Phil Dalhausser as they change ends, because really they should have changed 19-16 up if they would have sided out. We're back to a 1-point game. Pressure is on Nick Lucena here to open up the 2-point lead. Alisson makes the dig. Somehow Lucena makes that go over the net, but Alisson fires out. The line judge puts the flag up. Lucena looks to the crowd with his arms in the air, because that is a little bit of luck that Lucena and Dalhausser needed. It was great cover from Lucena, who managed to cover his own hit. That 2-point lead, it's huge for the United States. It just gives them that little cushion to make the odd error. Dalhausser serving as well. It could all be over very quickly. Alisson the target. Alisson with a big swing down the line. Kicking at the heels of the United States is Bruno and Alisson. Bruno needs to find something special here behind the baseline or in defense. We're about to find out. Lucena needs to decide out to have a set point. Yeah, he does. Big high fives from Phil Dalhausser, who looks like he's enjoying his volleyball out there. You don't see Phil rev up this much that often. He is pumped, and Lucena is smiling too. Remember, Lucena, the only one of these players never to win a World Tour Grand Slam. With plays like that, you're never going to be that far away. Alisson has to side out to stay in the set. He does so. That is a brutal blow from the Brazilian bully, keeping his team in green in the set. Lucena, I'm sure, is going to have to receive this one. He gets a word of support from Phil Dalhausser to side out for the set. This is the biggest point of the game so far. Can Nick Lucena win the set for the United States? No, Bruno gets the dig. Bruno's going to have a chance to send us to overtime. Yes, he does. The ball lands in. Bruno shows his class at the most important time of the set. He gets the dig and the transition on Nick Lucena to send this to overtime in the second set. Are Brazil going to steal this from right under the Americans' noses? Lucena now will be feeling the pressure out there, that's for sure. Lucena again the target. Phil goes on two. Phil sends it, stuffs it right down Alisson's nose. The atmosphere is amazing here in Long Beach. The second set point for Lucena and Dalhausser. Alisson is under pressure now with the side. He's well off the net. He fires long. We're going to a tiebreaker. Alisson struggling in reception. The set's off the net. Alisson fires long, and we are going to a tie-break set here in Long Beach, California. Nick Lucena has found consistency. Phil Dalhausser is fired up. And this game could go either way.
Queen and David Bowie got together in 1978. The single song called Under Pressure, ladies and gentlemen. What they really were talking about, as Justin pointed out earlier today, was this match, ladies and gentlemen.
If the crowd were not excited before, they are well and truly revved up as Lucena and Dalhausser take the second set 22-20. As we look at some highlights that have brought us to a tie-break set. The difference has been Nick Lucena has found his side-out consistency, getting the better of Bruno where he struggled in the first set. Bruno has been a lot quieter since really being a standout player on court throughout that opener. Dalhausser, every time he's been asked to perform, he has done extremely well. Nick Lucena, that one was set defining. However, he found the skill to get the ball over on that third touch. It was unbelievable. Dalhausser's service pressure is causing problems for Alisson as he blows the ball out the back, and we go to a tie-break set. Brazil have to tidy it up a little bit. Too many errors in that one from the Brazilians. Alisson, well, Lucena's finding a way past him, always sneaking the ball down the line. Too many errors in offense as well from Alisson, although we have seen some big blows from the big Brazilian blocker. It's more about Lucena. He was exceptional in that set. He thought he missed his opportunity by missing set point in his side out, but he came strong again, and he delivered when his country needed him to. Alisson's the target. No surprise, actually. You wouldn't ever think that. They went after Bruno early. Lucena is fired up, and he is seeing that ball like a beach ball. Alisson goes for the swipe, the swat block, but he swats it straight into the middle of the net. That's uncharacteristic of Alisson, who was going full out there. He's not quite finding his usual form here, Alisson. He goes too late on that block. Never gets high enough to make the swat. Lucena can be over the moon with that bit of defense early on in that point. Look at the smiles on his face. This decision to team up could be an inspired one by Phil Dalhausser and Nick Lucena. Oh, Bruno with the reverse handset. He gets booed, but what the crowd don't appreciate is how tough it is for a setter to pull that one out the bag. Cheeky from Bruno, but as long as his shoulders are facing where the ball goes, it's fine. There's no problems with that one from Bruno. The crowd, well, they're still hissing and booing Bruno, but I'm sure if it was Nick Lucena who pulled that trick out the bag, they'd be cheering it. Lucena to side out, only finds Bruno, who's probably fired up after that last play. Yes, he is fired up. Nick Lucena makes one off the elbow, underneath Alisson, bump on one from Bruno. Two cheeky plays from the defensive maestro in a row. Puts Brazil in the charge. Outstanding defense again from Nick Lucena, picking that one off the elbow. He got trapped under the block of Alisson though. Couldn't find the sand. Bruno definitely could. That there from Lucena is outrageous. That set from Dalhausser too tight. Bruno sees the opportunity for the sneak attack on one and takes it. Lucena, this time going high line, it's very high over Alisson, so it gives time for Bruno to mop up. And then Bruno makes the play off of the right hand of Phil Dalhausser. Turns round to Lucena and says, "My bad, buddy." This is not the start that the crowd wanted. Nor Lucena and Dalhausser. The two cheeky plays. From the inside. That's a huge blow from Lucena. He lost a little bit of confidence in that first set. Bruno really did take control. Bruno twice in this third set has really been quite cheeky with that reverse handset and that bump back on one, both delivering points for Brazil, and they have a 1-point lead. Dalhausser serving with the wind into his face, and now he's charging in to block. Dalhausser is lined up well, but I think Bruno found a way past him. Nobody quite knows what's happening. The line judge doesn't make a decision. The line judge is still down with his flag by his pocket. Alisson is going crazy. He's sure that's in from Bruno. The referee only goes with what the line judge says, and he's sure that that point goes to the USA. This is a big point because a good start from both teams in this third set is crucial. Alisson, head down, shaking his head, wagging his finger at the first referee, is very frustrated. looks like it was just out. It's very close to call. You can't call from that angle. Tied at 3s. Dalhausser, goofy toss, jump serve through the ball. Alice on the target again, who has struggled with an inside up. Dalhausser lines him up. Lucena makes another epic dig. Left hand again. We saw that one earlier, didn't we? This time it just shoots off his wrist and flies out of play. Quick clean of the glasses from Allison. Very warm out there. There is a nice cooling breeze for the players. This is what the Americans are calling Sunday Fun Day. 2 American teams in the final of their home Grand Slam. Lucena, this time, tries to sneak it past Allison. Allison says, no way. This time, his block timing is good. He delays. He's at the top of his reach. Left hand straight down from the Brazilian beast, Allison. 2-point game. Allison trying to get another block on Lucena. Good setting from Dalhausser. Chop angle is very precise from Lucena. More words from Bruno to the referee, but Lucena's happy. And he gets a march back to serve. Remember, this is a race to 15, and the teams change ends every 5 points. Service pressure again on Allison. As we said, a struggle with the side out. Tomahawk defense from Lucena's good diving set from Dalhausser is matched from Bruno, but he can't keep the ball in the air towards his partner. Changing ends at 5-all. Bruno's still arguing about something with the referee. I think Bruno just wants to worry about his own game. Plays high. He's suggesting there's 4 touches there, Bruno, and that's why he's struggling. They didn't get the decision. So there was a touch from Dalhausser, so he has every right to be disappointed. Over on 2 from Bruno, and it's an exquisite shot from the Brazilian maestro. Still talking to the line judge, letting him know his feelings. Regardless, they have a 1-point lead, so they just have to focus on what they can control, the Brazilians. Well, netband flicker, serve. Lucena from the right, does find sand. It drops in front of Bruno. Bruno's just sitting back, patrolling the perimeter of court. That one just drops a little bit low on him. Lucena finds the kill. Dalhausser to serve. This usual thing, hold the ball up high, give it a little spin, and then throw it up with the left hand, go through it with the right. Bruno from the right side. Lucena makes another dig. He's out digging his Brazilian opponent. Well done, Allison, the big figure, somehow gets a dig, but Phil makes the most of the overset. Allison is complaining, but I think the whole crowd can see that that ball drifts over the net, and Phil Dalhausser, he makes his big thin figure dominate that overset from Bruno. The Americans take the lead for the first time in this one. There's been 4 ties in the score in this set alone. Bruno from the right. Lucena makes his second consecutive. From Dalhausser, the Americans are revving up here. That's a great end so far. Lucena is starting to read the game. Well, he has been reading the game very well all day on that backcourt. He's starting to make it count at the net. Lucena has never won gold on the FIVB World Tour. This would be a first for Nick Lucena, an opportunity he doesn't want to waste. Phil Dalhausser has won 29 golds on the World Tour. Allison, well, he's won 15. 6 for Bruno. This would be the biggest day of Nick Lucena's career, surely, with Dalhausser. Back-to-back missed serves means it's a 2-point game. With Lucena with the ball in hand, he has full-on control over the ball at this stage before he floats it in, probably towards Allison. Yeah, it is Allison that's the target. Dalhouser's going to try and go early, I think. Again. What's happened is a net touch against Phil, and this is Phil Dalhouser getting frantic. You very rarely see that. He's pleading his innocence here, but the second referee has seen something that Phil Dalhouser hasn't felt himself. Lucena is the man who's questioning with the referee, sorry. You very rarely see that much energy from Dalhouser. He usually conserves it all. And some close calls in this one. That's for sure. Nothing closer than that one. Doesn't look like there's a net touch from Dalhouser. The whole crowd are booing here. 8-9. Brazil need to find some service pressure or get a stop in the block or defense. Lucena shoots high line. Too good from Bruno. Somehow keeps that ball off the sand. I don't know how. Dalhouser, second time, Alisson! Points straight to his partner because Bruno has just made the best pickup of the day. I was sure that ball was already in the sand. Bruno had different ideas. That high line off the touch of the block of Alisson. Look at that. Somehow the wrist getting underneath from round the ball from Bruno. Exemplary from him. The touch in the block early on from Alisson just gave Bruno enough time to get there as well. We're tied at 9s, and it's the Americans that need to time out. The Brazilians are growing again in confidence after losing the second set here in Long Beach.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's 9-9, is it not? What else do you want? 9-9. In a game number 3 for the gold, right here on American soil, USA, Brazil.
Senna will be heard doing most of the talking in this partnership. He keeps revving up Dalhouser. They're best buddies, these two. Originally both from Florida, but now reside in California, which is a breeding ground of beach volleyball in the USA. All the top teams are based Manhattan, Hermosa, somewhere around there. The rivalry between Brazil and the USA has always been a fierce one. And this is another historic battle here on the beaches of California. Knuckle cover from Dalhouser. He needs to make one here, but Dalhouser can't even find the net. The ball drops underneath the bottom tape. That's not the Phil Dalhouser that we've all got used to over the years. Surely the pressure's not getting to Big Phil, is it? 10-9. The USA, the lead changes again, and it's Brazil that are in charge. Lucena again the target. He just got blocked out twice in a row from Alisson, and now it's Bruno that gets the dig, but there's a touch off the block, so Alisson had to bump it over. It's tight from Phil. The block from Lucena sends it out. High risk stuff from Lucena going through the net, and this game is slowly running away from Dalhouser and Lucena. Alisson has come to the party in this final set like we haven't seen in the previous two. That's the difference. Bruno is finding digs at very, very crucial times for Brazil. A couple of uncharacteristic errors from Dalhouser means that we're at 11-9. Bruno just slides one out to Lucena's right-hand side. This is game on now because Dalhouser is coming back to serve. You can see how busy it is. There's rows of people sitting 3 or 4 deep. Dalhouser needs to find some of his magic here in Long Beach. Pass from Bruno is leaked to the left, so they're out of system here. Bruno off the net, off the court, finds space to go over the top of Phil Dalhouser and make the side out and keep the ball and the score at 2 points. The most important thing there is that Dalhouser won't be seen to serve again for a few points. Nick Lucena, it's a great swing from Lucena, who lets the ball drop in. Nick Lucena has just made a decision that could be costly for the Americans here. That ball back on one from Bruno was delightful. He had no other option because he was struggling to send that over, just like we saw Bruno do earlier on in the game. Nick Lucena is sure that ball's out, so he lets it drop, but actually it drops in on the line, and now the Brazilians have a 3-point lead in a race to 15, and they are firm favourites here in Long Beach to upset the American crowd. Lucena now through the middle of court in the block of Allison, who reacts very well. It's a bump cutting from Bruno. Dalhausser needs this one now, and he does make it on the cut shot. The excitement is building yet again from Long Beach. There's no doubting that this is the most important point in the match for the USA. They need to win this. Lucena at full stretch. They can't keep the ball in the air. Good swing from Bruno, hitting the retreating Dalhausser. That's match and championship point for Brazil. They have 3 goes as well. They need something special, the Americans. Allison has performed superbly in this last set. He's been served a lot, and he's answered the critics from the first and second sets. Bruno has been consistent almost the whole way through. The crowd are on their feet to see set point and match point to Brazil through. Lucena's the target. He has to swing to stay in the game here. Lucena, he does find the steepest angle of them all to save the match for the USA. Dalhausser, well, if you want someone to go back and serve big jump serves at this crucial point of the game, it is Dalhausser. He will go high risk for high reward here, Dalhausser. You cannot write Dalhausser off in these situations. Jump serve from Dalhausser straight to Bruno. Bruno for the game, it's tight. It's out from Bruno. He tries to go down the left-hand side of Dalhausser and misses the sideline. Dalhausser's pressure in the block and from the baseline was too good for Bruno. They saved 2 match points. Can they save a third here? Dalhausser takes pace off the ball, struggling Allison. Allison for the match. Allison finds the kill. 15-13 in the last. Brazil make it 4 wins in a row on the FIVB World Tour. Heads down moment for Dalhausser and Lucena. They fought incredibly hard throughout that game. You do not get any closer than that. Allison Bruno sneaked the win. 15-13 in the last. Boy, oh boy, did Allison stand up under big pressure. Dalhausser tried his hardest to serve his team back in the game. Big respect for both blockers from each other as they shake hands. That was one of the most exciting games of the season. Dalhausser is still questioning the decision of the net touch that we saw halfway through that set that was, well, it was very arguable to say the least. Allison applauds the crowd. Dalhausser still arguing. Nick Lucena has gone back to the dugout very quickly, still in search of his first FIVB World Tour gold medal. But surely, if he keeps putting in performances like he has done this week, supported by the very, very strong Phil Dalhausser, who looks like he's enjoying his volleyball as much as he has for a long time, they will get their reward at some stage. Allison from the left side had to side out a lot of times in that game. Let's have a look at some highlights from the most memorable of finals here from Long Beach.